The conspiracy deepens. They deny it still.
Wake the fuck up!
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What's up, everybody? So I messed up in the last video that I did dealing with a theory that crouching triggers an aim key. Specifically on the part where it looks like they're aiming above their targets during the gunfight and it looks like they're pre-aiming their crouch positions. In most, if not all of these cases, these people are tracking their target's head during the crouch animation, which makes it look like they're aiming above the target and then crouching. And the reason this is happening is because the animations don't appear in the GoTV demo. So any mouse movements that happen during the animation you're going to see before the worldview actually changes. The worldview doesn't change until the crouch is completed, and then it instantly changes. Now, like I said on the first video that I did on this, I absolutely knew that the animations weren't in the GoTV demo. What I didn't know is that the worldview doesn't change until the crouch has actually completed. What I did was I compared GoTV demos. I never compared a POV demo to my GoTV demo, which was stupid on my part, but the reason I didn't do this was because you can actually do this demo bug in-game if you actively try to aim above the target's head and pre-aim your crouch positions. It looks exactly like this demo bug. So that's what I thought was going on. I thought these people were actively pre-aiming their crouch positions. And if you're not moving your crosshair at all, then it just appears as that straight up and down motion. And if you're only tapping the crouch button, as you can see right here, sometimes it doesn't even register in the GoTV demo. It just looks like the weapon's moving a little bit. Now this was brought to my attention by a user at VaxSucks named badAtPaint.net, and I'm just going to play a little section of his video real quick, and he's pretty much explaining the same thing that I just kind of went over.
When it gets to the part where I'm slowed down a lot, it's going to greatly exaggerate what's happening in your crouch anomalies video, and hopefully you'll understand the point I'm trying to get across. So yeah, the crouching looks way different from my point of view because it's instantaneous every time. So how does the GoTV demo handle instant crouching when the player is doing it really slowly?
So with all of this being said, none of this negates my theory of crouching triggering an aim key. This just explains why it looks like sometimes they're aiming above their target's heads before they crouch. Which, I mean, I was struggling with in the first place because it didn't really make sense for the aimbot to adjust that way. And it makes way more sense for it to be actually tracking the head during the crouch animation. Even though it is technically possible to pre-aim your crouch positions like I thought they were doing in the last video. I just think it's way more likely that it's this demo bug. But the only way we're ever going to really know is if we have a POV demo to go by to reference with a GoTV demo. And unfortunately, they don't offer those anymore. So what does all of this new information mean for clips like this? Because aiming above his head during the crouch wasn't the only thing that was happening during this clip. Timing was a huge factor, right? The shot is timed as the crouch is completing. And the adjustment to his head is also timed immediately after the recoil decay is done. So the timing of everything is still an issue, right? Because you can absolutely shoot during the crouch animation, and these players aren't. They're adjusting during the crouch animation and timing the shot as the crouch is completed. Like in the clip I had of Doc where he's shooting the CZ and crouches during the third shot. You can see that he hesitates before the third shot and doesn't actually shoot until the crouch is completed. And as for this Xanteris clip right here, I think that he's gathering information because if you continuously crouch like this and continuously trigger your aim key, you can see if anybody's around you. And I was actually contacted by a former 1.6 professional player saying that almost 20 years ago, his team had a cheat that had this exact same feature on it, that crouching would trigger an aim key. And it looked exactly like this Xanteris clip. And as I've said in previous videos, I also think that weapon switches trigger an aim key. And this clip right here is probably one of the best examples I've found of this. And coincidentally, it happens to come from the Berlin Major, which is the last major event. You have to have interpolation turned on in order to see the weapon switches, and you'll see him lock, not once, but twice on the target while he's cycling through grenades. And of course, you also want to turn interpolation off so you can get an accurate representation of what's going on in the demo. I would consider this a pretty good example of crouching to get information. You'll see that before his crouch is completed that his crosshairs drag to the target behind forklift, which means that he's aiming during the crouch animation and on the target's head once the crouch is completed. So as you can see, Lekro is blind and still adjusts to his target right before he crouches and times the shot with the crouch. I know the amount of people that Glaive has killed through smokes has been a topic in the past, and I thought this was pretty interesting because as you can see, after he crouches, there's a small adjustment to the target before he starts shooting. And we have a similar situation here with Nico, where he's going to shoot twice and have a quick adjustment while he's crouching to the target behind the smoke. Looks like we have a small info lock as he steps around the corner right here. And as he makes his way through the smoke and finds a target, you're going to notice that after he crouches but before he starts shooting, there's going to be a tiny adjustment to the target, which you're going to be able to see a little better if I play at 10% of the game speed. It's still a little fast at 20%. This example shows Skadoodle locking back onto the target's head after he uncrouches. The right side of your screen is going to be a zoomed in version of what's happening, and Elige is going to crouch twice right here. The first time he crouches, there's going to be a right angle adjustment, and another adjustment down to the target after he crouches the second time. Next, we have an instant adjustment after his second shot when he uncrouches. And you'll also notice that between shots, his crosshair is pulled to the center of the target each time.